Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me for another COMC Rummage video. As is typically the case with these, just going to cut right to the chase. Grabbed about, somewhere in the realm of 15 to 20 sleeved singles from the many COMC pickups that are backlogged here in my home office, waiting to be cataloged and entered into my collection proper. Did you all the favor of removing all these annoying paper inserts now that COMC throws in the back of their cards to, I guess, allegedly help with their shipping and sorting woes that they've experienced during the pandemic. I find that they just ruin the penny sleeves, but oh well, as long as they get the right cards to me at a cheap price, I am a happy collector. And we're going to start off with a little bit of hockey here. As you can see, this is Pat Kane of the Chicago Blackhawks. In my opinion, has been one of the premier players in the NHL for better than a decade now. Just continues to produce at an elite level, even though he came into the league all the way back in like 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. And actually has a chance to go down as arguably the best American-born hockey player ever to take the ice in the NHL. And I grabbed a few of these. So this is something I didn't really used to do before, but find myself doing now. And that is, if I find what I think is a really great deal on a card, I won't hesitate to buy multiples these days. And that's something that for the first few years of my collecting, I didn't really do. But check out this rainbow color wheel parallel from O-Pee-Chee Platinum. I have talked about this release a few times before. I have some friends that have gotten into hockey card collecting recently that I talk with, and always recommend if you're into shine, modern shiny cards, and you want to explore hockey a little bit, to check out the O-Pee-Chee Platinum set. You can see here, this is a release that Upper Deck started making a few years back now. I think it started around mid-2000s, maybe 2014, somewhere around there. Continues to this day. And this is, one of the options, the few options on the hockey side of the house to get like a chromium type card stock on a modern hockey card. Obviously Topps and Panini do not have license to make NHL trading cards. So you don't have, a Topps Chrome or a Topps Finest or a Panini Prism. And so I think as far as chromium hockey cards go, as far as that card stock, O-Pee-Chee Platinum is one of the best brands going. There are tons of really cool parallels like this one. They kind of change from year to year. Although some, like this rainbow color wheel, have existed for, a few years running now. And then I'll save the details of this for a future episode, but thanks to the E-Pack promotion between Upper Deck and COMC, these O-Pee-Chee Platinum parallels are typically available on COMC for dirt cheap coin. Like in terms of, I don't think I paid more than 30 to 35 cents for any of these Kane cards. So, $1.50 or so for 5 of those. I'll throw them in a Z-Folio, maybe send a couple off to pals that are into hockey collecting now. Who knows? But either way, I just don't think you can go wrong at that price point. And here's another example, same player. This is, I think, a year or two after those that we just looked at. But this is a Violet Pixels Patrick Kane parallel from the O-Pee-Chee Platinum release. The lighting is brutal in here, sorry. So it gets darker and darker here at this time of year in Rhode Island. And since I'm shooting this one in the evening, had to kind of change my normal filming angle to get some more light in here since I don't have any natural light to help me along. So apologies for the glare, but you definitely get the idea here. This is an aptly named parallel because it really does look like pixelation that you would see, on a TV screen or a monitor. And of course has violet in the border. So Violet Pixel is pretty accurate. And these are numbered out of 399. So not super rare or anything, but just a neat card. And again, that was something like 50 cents to bring that home into my hockey collection. So I'll score shiny Pat Kane cards at that price point all day long. And as a matter of fact, I'm quite sure that I have others, parallels of his from O-Pee-Chee Platinum, probably in my COMC box that I've yet to get to process. So probably not the last you'll see of those. Nice segue here from the Violet Pixels card. Here's a baseball release. This is a Raffy Devers Topps Heritage Chrome Purple Refractor. I've shown these many times. I love the purple and standard refractors every year in Topps Chrome. Devers is one of 2 players, Xander Bogaerts being the other, that I player collect. on the modern day Red Sox roster, and grabbed this one for less than $1. So just a cheap way there to flush out my Devers PC a little bit better. Jump back to hockey here. We got a vintage card. So this is a really cool one from the 71-72 release, which is one of the more interesting card designs in hockey history. Love the bubble letter theme here for the team name. And of course, this was just an interesting era in hockey, and as evidenced by the fact that this is a Golden Seals card and they don't even exist any longer. And what's also cool about this one, the majority of my vintage hockey cards are tops because A, they're cheaper, and B, that's what I grew up collecting here in the States. But this one that I grabbed is actually an O-Pee-Chee parallel, which you can tell from the brighter cardstock back and the small printed in Canada, which is not really going to focus here, but yeah, printed in Canada along the bottom of the card. So pretty cool Golden Seals card. Really just grabbed that one for my, just because of my respect for franchises of the past that no longer exist, and thought that was kind of a neat single for that collection. Next up, I got a shiny basketball card here. This is a Paul Pierce die cut out of Select Basketball. I am not a basketball fan. I am barely a basketball collector, but I am trying to fill a single orange Z folio with 360 random cool basketball cards, and pick this one up towards that pursuit just because I am absolutely hopelessly addicted to Panini's Prism and Select parallels. I sound like a broken record, but check out the etching on that basketball. I'm sorry to say it, but Panini just absolutely blows tops out of the water in recent years when it comes to making amazing shiny cards. And yeah, just love this one. I like the die cut element of it, and it is also serial numbered, in this case out of 199. So just a cheap pickup. I think that was $1 or so, and will be a nice entrant into that basketball card Z folio. Here's the lone soccer card, I'm pretty sure, out of the little stack that I pulled here. This is a Sapphire, Topps Chrome Sapphire, which you've definitely seen and recognized from the baseball realm, but Topps has been creating these for the UEFA Champions League for a couple seasons now. This is from the inaugural set that came out last year and features one of the more underrated midfielders in the game, in my opinion, Luka Modric, who actually, I became a fan of his back in 2018 because I watched a lot of the World Cup. And even though his country, Croatia, lost in the final to France and Kylian Mbappe's team, he was nonetheless, and rightfully so, I would say, named player of the tournament. So he got a lot of attention there, and he's sort of been one of the best midfielders on the globe over the last, 10 years or so. And his stuff is very, very cheap. So was able to bring this one home for less than $1, which for a Sapphire card is pretty good. And that'll go right into the Soccer Z folio. I have another hockey one here. This will be the end of the hockey for this video. This is another shiny kind of chromium type parallel that I like for that reason. So also as part of the e-Pack promotion, we have been treated to in recent years these silver foil, I believe they're called, parallels. These are exact replicas of the player's flagship Upper Deck hockey card, but they are done in a silver foil kind of chromium finish or cardstock here. So again, just like I said with the O-Pee-Chee Platinums, these are kind of an interesting way to get like almost like a Topps Chrome-ish looking card of a hockey player that you want to collect. Obviously, I'm a hometown Bruins fan here, and as such, really a big fan of David Pastrnak and his lamp lighting ability. And these are just abundantly available and very cheap on COMC, just again because of that e-Pack promotion, although I'm starting to see signs of them drying up a little bit. People love chromium cardstock, it seems like, and your options are a little bit limited on the hockey side of the house, and so I think these are very compelling cards. And so if you act quickly, if there are any players you're into in the NHL, highly recommend searching out silver foil and player's name, insert player name here on COMC, and chances are you can pick up some of these for 50 cents or less. And they're just kind of a neat addition to a player or team PC. We're going to switch over now to 2 vintage baseball cards. So I have joked a lot in the early running on the channel, and I have some friends that poke fun at me because I have so many projects running concurrently in the hobby. One of those many projects is a 55 Topps baseball set. And I've got 2 singles here to add to that pursuit today. Love this one just because I'm a total sucker for the Brooklyn Dodgers. And this is a really nice Don Hoke. With this release, I'm not searching for really mint cards. I just have to kind of be realistic and stay within my budget here. Trying to complete a set from the 50s is no small undertaking. So what I do here is I look for graded, low grade, but good visual appeal cards of the Hall of Famers. And then the non-Hall of Famers, I pick up decent visual representations like this, if I can find them for just $1 or $2 on COMC. And that's what was done here. This is a really clean card. I mean, this is not going to grade a PSA 7 or anything. It's got a little bit of corner rounding, and that's fine. But, you know, looking at this, it doesn't look all that different than it would have when some youngster would have pulled it out of a pack, you know, all the way back in the summer of 55. So really happy to add that one. And then to go along with that, I just happened to grab a couple of these from the same seller who I thought had some pretty good pricing in this order, but managed a second single that I didn't have previously as well. And that is also a franchise that is moved and no longer kind of referred to as they are on this card. The KC Athletics. Love the logo there with the elephant perched on atop the baseball. And don't really know the first thing about Jim Finnegan. Not really sure how successful he was as a third baseman for the A's. But again, there's no bad card to pick up from this release. These are just really, really vibrant and colorful. I view the 1950s as sort of the golden age of baseball cards, and I'm certainly not unique or alone in that opinion. But I just absolutely love the decade, and I've made the decision a while back. I picked one set from each year, 1950 through 59, you know, be it Topps or Bowman, to kind of just slowly pick away at. And, you know, maybe at some time in my collecting lifetime, I'll actually finish 1 or 2 of them. But in the meantime, I just really enjoy the accumulation and sort of the thrill of being able to find examples like these 2 on the site at a really good price for $1 or $2. It just feels nice to kind of slowly watch that collection build. Just 2 more here. First is a baseball card, and this is a great one that I'm pretty proud about this one towards a set project that I'm working on and have referenced many times. But I am really closing in on the finish line here with these 2011 Topps Chrome Atomic Refractor baseball cards. And this Alex Cobb is one of the last rookies that I needed. The last 30 or 40 cards on the 220 card checklist are the rookies, or at least a good portion of them. Alex had a decent MLB career. This is not like an incredibly difficult card for that reason, but numbered out at 225 each. These are just getting tougher to track down now, 10 years after release, and just very, very grateful that I found another one that I need. I've got less than 10 to go. And hopefully at some point here in the very near future on the channel, I'll be doing like a celebratory video to show this entire complete set in a binder. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Still a little ways away from that, but I can kind of see the end of the tunnel just coming into sight. And then the final card, we have one more basketball card here, which you wouldn't have predicted. This is another one that's going to go right into that Z folio. It's a Muggsy Bogues. And this is like some type of a promotional card that was issued by Converse. I was drawn to this just because I am fascinated by athletes that have a much different build, let's say, than their competitors in their sport. So that could be anything from, you know, Muggsy Bogues having a very diminutive stature compared to a lot of NBA players, or on the opposite side of it, Manute Bol being extremely tall compared to, you know, his fellow athletes, or, you know, in the baseball realm, I always kind of like the, you know, like the Rod Beck types with a beer gut and just look like they have a sort of a body type that wouldn't allow them to be an athlete in any other sport. So I guess I just kind of like those sort of outliers in that sense. And of course, you know, as a kid of the 90s, growing up with the Charlotte Hornets entering the NBA, I know, you know, all the cool kids at my middle school had Charlotte Hornets starter jackets and zebra caps, stuff like that. So I never had anything like that, but I always had an appreciation for Muggsy Bogues. And I just thought this was kind of a really cool, oddball, insert card. I have owned a pair or two of Converse or Chuck Taylors, you know, back in the day, and just thought that would be a fun addition to that Basketball Z folio. So that's a wrap here. Seemed to gab on at a rate of about a minute per card, so I guess I'm not that surprised that it took me, you know, 15 minutes or so to get through these, but thank you very much for sticking with me and sort of my collecting randomness. I've been told in the comments in the past that I have the collecting focus of a shotgun, and I accept that. I'm going to view that as a compliment, and I think today's COMC Rummage is probably evidence of that. So hopefully you saw one or two things you liked or that interested you, and I will certainly be back in the near future with some more content. Until then, everybody stay safe and take care.